Hey guys, so I thought I'd do something a little different today. I'm going to show off my Disney vinyl collection. I will be doing soundtracks for animated pictures, and if I have any, some of the live action ones. I will also be including Lucasfilm productions and something you can see on Disney Plus, but it's not necessarily wholly Disney. But let's get right into it. First up, this isn't exactly a soundtrack, but every song on here did land on a soundtrack at some point. This is Simply Sherman, Disney hits from the Sherman Brothers, Dick and Bob. This was a Record Store Day exclusive from 2019, I believe it was. Nothing special about the vinyl or anything, just standard, generic black. You know. Next up is a 60s reissue of Chilling, Thrilling Sounds of the Haunted House, which is on Disneyland Records. This is a really rough copy, so I'll have to be careful with it. On that yellow Disneyland label. It says on the hype sticker, added bonus inside, spooky party hints. Oh yeah, wow, there it is on the inner sleeve. So you learn something new every day. That's kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie. So, wow, okay. Despite the rough condition that this album cover is in, it's falling apart in my hand right now. I guess we have spooky party hints. That's cool. Alright, so let's get to the soundtracks then. First is the one that started it all, quite literally. In the 1980s, the Disney company put out some picture discs for their certain classic films, and I happen to have one of the first ones, or no, the soundtrack for the first Disney picture, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This really cool style here that features like really iconic scenes from the film. This was like a running theme in the 1980s picture discs. Side B of all these really awesome picture discs are like perfect for putting on your wall if you love Snow White. I'm not gonna lie, they're a lot better than you've probably seen some of the modern day Disney picture discs, which I have and I'm gonna show off, but the artwork on these from the 80s is just unbelievable. Same goes for Pinocchio here. If you're like a Pinocchio die-hard fan, that would be beautiful to put right on your wall, right smack in the middle. Or that one, depending on which side you like better. I like this one better, I'm partial to that one. Okay. This is the last one I have that's an 80s picture disc. I'm just going to pull it out because the sleeve's looking a little rough. Cinderella, 1950. Same thing on the back with all those iconic scenes and characters. Just put it on your wall. I wonder what happened to those artists. I wish they would come back. But so moving on, another early Disney picture. This isn't exactly a soundtrack. In fact, I don't even think it's a soundtrack very much at all. This is from Disneyland Records, Songs and the Story from Peter Pan. Story and Songs from Peter Pan, excuse me. This is one of those releases that came with like a little storybook for the kids. And it's pretty intact as far as I know. Show you the label on that one. Kind of an inner sleeve. It just slides out from right here. It's got a cool rainbow Disneyland logo. So there's that. Next up is what is, in my opinion, one of the best film soundtracks, not just in Disney history, but of all time, Mary Poppins! There are a ton of liner notes in the gatefold and some photos of Julie Andrews with the actors. I got this one for like $1 at my local record store. One of the first records I actually bought with my own money. Shouldn't be too hard to come across, although granted this one, if you can't already tell, is in really rough shape. It doesn't even have an inner sleeve inside, which that's kind of my fault. But it's on a really cool Buena Vista Records label. And just know too, this is not the score to Mary Poppins. Okay, the only thing that comes close to the score is the overture that you hear when the movie begins. Like, you're not gonna hear any of that cool stuff you hear on the deluxe versions of the album. Moving into the next decade, this is what I think of as one of my favorite animated Disney films, which I wish had a soundtrack to it, but I didn't think it had enough music for a soundtrack. But it's Story and Songs from Robin Hood, another Disneyland record featuring the book for kids, kind of like an audiobook read along, like the Peter Pan one. It's really intact. Wow. Again, like Peter Pan, it just slides out like that on the same rainbow label. Alright, this next one, this is another really early addition to my collection, and I didn't even know about this until I found it. This is kind of unique. I found it for really cheap on eBay. This is called The Magical Music of Walt Disney. It's a 4LP box, you can call it that. It's a 4LP box set featuring segments from every Disney film, from Steamboat Willie to Pete's Dragon. Let's whip it out. I'm only going to show you one because they're all pretty much the same except for the shades of color in the background. So every sleeve has this basic idea with a couple of the characters from many of the films. Label here has Walt Disney's signature, the standard Disney logo, you know. It's kind of a gorgeous set if you like segments. If you're having a hard time finding the Mary Poppins soundtrack, this one has an entire side devoted to Poppins. I'm not sure which one it is, but there's a whole side devoted to it. And also it comes with this really cool booklet with liner notes and information about the movies and old pictures and release dates. It's a really, really fine addition to my collection, and I'm sure it'd be a fine addition to yours as well if you come across it. I found it on eBay for like $7. I don't know if I got lucky or not. I don't know if it's worth a lot of money, but who cares? Okay, a non-Disney record that's technically a Disney record because of Lucasfilm. Got this one for surprisingly cheap. I found the soundtrack to Raiders of the Lost Ark a few years ago on Record Store Day. Not an exclusive, but just a really cool find I found in the used section. On perhaps the most generic label on any Disney record since going back to the 50s and 40s, Columbia Records. By going back to the 50s and 40s, I mean maybe the 78s that some of the really early pictures were put onto. Soundtracks and such, you know. Alright, moving into the 90s with some modern day picture discs that were for the 2010s. This was the first one I got. Again, I don't think the artwork on these are as great as the ones from the 80s, but these are a lot higher quality. The characters have obviously been kind of sort of redesigned, so there's that. The first one I got was Beauty and the Beast. These were sold at Hot Topic and Disney World for a number of years. I got this one at Pop Century Resort, I think. Many years ago. Well, actually it wasn't. It was like 6. Alright, next up, this is one of my favorite pieces in my entire collection. This is the soundtrack to The Nightmare Before Christmas on picture disc. It opens up like that. Take them out so you can have a better look at them. So side A, it's a Jack in the Sandy Claus suit. Side B, shock, lock, and barrel. Side C, I think is this side C? Well, anyway, this side has the mayor, Mr. Mayor on it, or just Mayor of Halloween Town on it, and Dr. Finkelstein on the other one. Stein. Yeah, this was the first time that Nightmare was ever issued on vinyl, and this has a healthy mix of the score and the songs by Danny Elfman, so I highly recommend this copy. But you can't really go wrong with Nightmare, so I guess whatever you stumble across works. Okay, next up, another one of my favorite Disney soundtracks. This is actually probably one of my top 5 Disney soundtracks. Hercules, with music by Alan Menken. I got this one from the Disney Music Emporium, which, if you are unaware, there's Hades on the back. If you didn't know, the Disney Music Emporium is an officially run by Disney music store online. It's wholly run online, and they sell vinyl and CDs, and a lot of the stuff you can't just find in your local record store. You actually have to go online to purchase it. I've seen some pretty cool stuff there. I'm actually going to show you some in a little bit, but yeah, I'm going to leave a link down below. Definitely go check them out. They've got a lot of really cool stuff for you to add to your collection. Moving on, I got this at Cracker Barrel. This is another picture disc. I think this is my last modern day reissue, or not reissue, but my last modern day picture disc of a Disney animated film, Tarzan, with music and lyrics by the legendary Phil Collins. A fine soundtrack for an even finer film. Okay, so again, that does it for picture discs for animated films, but I'm not quite done yet. This one here that I'm about to show you, you won't be able to tell what it is instantly unless you have like really good vision and can see the label. This is the Mondo exclusive soundtrack to Ratatouille on a really cool splatter vinyl. I'm going to show you all that with a really sick label on both of them. Again, since Ratatouille wasn't really a musical, this isn't the TikTok version, okay, kids? This is the 2007 film, just so we're clear. Since Ratatouille wasn't really a musical, this is the score by Michael Giacchino. Another fine addition to your collection. Unfortunately, I think this one is sold out around the world. But of course, if you know what Mondo is, it's another site that has a lot of really cool vinyl, and they sell exclusive to the site covers and pressings like this one. So definitely go check them out. Next up, this is another early addition to my collection. Got this for Christmas when I was 14 years old. This is the soundtrack to Tron Legacy with music by Daft Punk. This one's also kind of hard to come by. So it's a 2 LP set. I'll only show you one record because the labels are exactly the same minus the track listing. Regular black vinyl, but it's kind of cool to see the Tron logo on wax, don't you agree? You're darn right you do. Okay. Onward. I mentioned earlier that there's something in here that's not exactly Disney, but you are still able to see it on Disney Plus. for my birthday this past year, I snagged a copy of Hamilton. It's this glorious box set if you haven't seen this before. So, when you open the box, it's all strapped up like that because you gotta protect it somehow. Right on top is a booklet filled with the lyrics. Not really a lot of liner notes. Primarily, the original cast list is on there as well. And in between everything, just a bunch of really cool graphics that represent this legendary play. It's a 4 LP set. I'm going to go ahead and show you what this set's all about. Comes in all 4 like this. So, Disc 1 is the first half of Act 1. Disc 2 is the second half of Act 1. Oh yeah, there's the back to Disc 1. Disc 3 is the first half to Act 2. And Disc 4, which I'm going to get into in a minute, is the last half to Act 2. This is, you've probably seen in a lot of box sets that they just have regular inner sleeves. This box set has inner sleeves with inner sleeves inside of it. So, yeah. Black vinyl. But just having Lin Manuel on wax is cool enough, and it doesn't really require the usage of color vinyl or splatter vinyl. Even if you don't like Hamilton, this is a gorgeous set to have in your collection. It took me a while to find it. It took a heck of a lot of driving to get out to the Barnes & Noble that had it, but hey, it was worth every penny and every drop of gas I used. If that's the expression, I don't know. Alright. My next few are also not going to be explicitly Disney. They're only Disney by technicality, but are still pretty awesome additions to the collection. This one actually is basically Disney because they were promoting it like crazy when it came out, and still today. From the Disney parks, the Force Awakens soundtrack, Star Wars Episode 7, a 2 LP picture disc set with Kylo Ren on side A, Han Solo on side B, and Finn on side C. I think it's side C, and then Rey on D. Here, I'll take these out so you can see a little better. So there's Ren, Father Han, or is Finn side D? I'm actually not sure. I'll figure it out. So there's the side with Rey and the side with Finn. I haven't spun this one in a while, so please excuse my ignorance. If I'm missing something, let me know down in the comments. Next up is another Star Wars edition, but not quite the soundtrack. I am an absolute sucker for the Porgs, in case you haven't been able to tell. So I had to get this Record Store Day exclusive from 2018. I got it like a year late though. This, I guess you can count this as my soundtrack to The Last Jedi. I'll pull Mr. Porg out for you so you can see him in all his glory. Really cool die cut here with music for the great John Williams. Side A has The Rebellion is Born, and side B has Canto Bright, both from Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So yeah, there's that. This next one is newer, but is also a really sick die cut. I got this one from the Disney Music Emporium recently. I'm surprised they were so fast to release it, but it is a die cut. You would call it a 10-inch. Anyway, it's one of my favorite pieces in my collection. It's the one and only My Lord and Savior Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. with both sides having the theme song to Mandalorian by Ludwig Göransson, I don't know. But whether you love or hate Baby Yoda, this is a really solid pressing. It's nice and crisp. There's no static, there's no skipping, there's no nothing. They did a great job pressing this one. And in case I didn't mention earlier, pretty much all the picture discs that I've gotten from Disney have sounded really, really good. I don't think I've had a problem with any of them. Which brings me to the last addition to my collection relating to Disney. This is, at the time of this recording, the most recent Disney Pixar movie. This is the score to Soul, composed by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross from 9 Inch Nails. If you haven't seen this movie, oh man, it's on Disney Plus. Go watch it now. Now, this is the Target exclusive. This is the inner sleeve. It's just in the plastic. And clear vinyl. Wow. There is another copy of it available. Of course, if you've seen the film, you know that Soul very much revolves around jazz music and this guy's love for jazz. And you would notice that Jon Batiste did the jazz compositions for the film. And there were so many of them, they couldn't squeeze Reznor and Ross's music in with Batiste's. So they gave him a completely different album. I think it's called Music Inspired by and From Disney Pixar Soul. I long to find it because the first time I saw it, I decided I'd pass on it and I'd buy it another time. But now I can't find it anywhere and I regret it deeply. And that, my friends, is my Disney vinyl collection. I've got kind of a mess now that I need to put back together. Check out the links down below. I'm going to leave one to Disney Music Emporium and Mondo. Definitely go support those guys because they have got some great pressings for your collection. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.